Hello everyone. Today I decided to continue the themes I mentioned in my previous YouTube video, and specifically I want to talk about recognizing certain energies. In the last video we discussed focusing on our chest area because that is where an energy center, often the point of connection to the soul, resides. Through that center we can feel our soul's energy, understand who we are, why we're here, and even unpack the knowledge our soul holds. Through this same energy center, we can restore the synchronization of soul and consciousness, something I often mention. Today, I'd like to speak more about that. First, let's address the question. When we concentrate and try to sense this energy, what exactly are we supposed to feel? People frequently don't know what is supposed to happen or what to do when they focus on their chest area, or how it might lead to some kind of inner unpacking. If someone has no real grasp of why or how they doing something, they'll just go through the motions, doing it mechanically without understanding the cause and effect behind it. In my view, that usually leads to few results. So I wanted to discuss this, hoping it might help someone reconnect and start picking up on their soul's energy, possibly receiving more of those downloads or deeper insights about themselves. Actually, this isn't just to sense the soul's energy. It can also help us rid the energy of the environment around us. The subtle plane, if you will, or at least begin deciphering the energies out there. Let's try to explore that today. First, let me recap from the previous video. Maybe some folks here haven't seen it. Before getting into the actual practice, what I'm about to explain, it's crucial to eliminate your internal dialogue to stop those ventriloquist voices in your head. That's your first order of business, because if you skip that step, likely nothing else will work. If you want to decode energy or truly feel it, you have to remove outside interference and anything that could warp your perception. So internal dialogue, emotional triggers forced on you by negative energies or entities. All of it has to be cleared from your energy field. Otherwise, they'll interfere. If you're not sure how to do that, check out my earliest intro videos on cutting off connections. There are two parts, both packed with workable methods. Anyone, regardless of whether they see the subtle plane or not, can use those techniques to handle negative voices, forced emotions, and so forth. So next, let's clarify what it means to feel energy. I've said many times that we feel energy 24 hours a day, it's 7 days a week, it means 365 days a year, all the time. All the emotions we experience, like joy or pain in the chest, that soul pain, that genuine happiness, are essentially coded energy. Even anger, jealousy, greed, love. Hatred, sorrow, these are coded forms of energy. Energy in its raw form has no positive or negative aspect. The soul determines how it's expressed, giving energy a certain shape or program. That's why I often say energy in matter is governed by the energy of the soul. The soul's intention or emotion influences the shape or outcome of that energy. Hence, the entire universe is basically a synergy of two main energies, the energy of matter and the energy of soul. The soul's energy acts upon matter's energy, shaping it according to the soul's intent. That's why we can manifest or create things in reality. The soul's energy shapes matter. If we talk about decoding energy, whether it's your environment or reading the subtle plane, it's fundamentally about deciphering those emotional signals. Our typical emotions, be it anger, fear, or love, are a kind of encoded energy. If we can break it down or interpret it, we can get powerful insight. So, for example, empathy. When you say, I sense how this person feels, it's not just imagination. It's you picking up on their emotional frequency. Some empathic individuals experience this very strongly. They don't just guess how someone feels, they literally feel that person's emotions as if they were their own. If they learn to delve deeper, they can read many other energies around people, like that individual's overall vibe or character. This is done by decoding energy. It's not complicated in principle. We've simply been taught to give more attention to the physical dimension, what's there, and less attention to our own inner signals. Many people outright ignore or dismiss their inner sensations. For instance, if someone gets a headache and momentarily thinks, "Someone's trying to drill into my head," they might shrug and say, "It's nothing." That's an example of not trusting your own sense of things. Rather, they trust the internal dialogue in their head, which ironically is often a fake voice we should ignore. It's a complete reversal of what we should do. So, if you want to return to a subtle plane perception, start paying attention. Analyze your inner feelings. Any flicker of pain, tension, or that sense of someone's messing with me, don't just toss it aside. But how do we interpret or decode these emotions? Well, if you picture a wine connoisseur swirling and savoring a vintage, it's somewhat similar. They pick out tiny flavor notes. In the same way, you can taste an emotion, dwell on it, parse out its nuances. In a single second, an emotional flash can hold a massive amount of information. Emotions are that powerful. So if you want to perceive or work with the subtle plane, first you learn to examine your own emotional states in slow motion. Focus on your chest, the solar plexus or heart region, and ask yourself questions like, who am I? Why am I here? What am I feeling right now? Then, wait, see if any flicker of feeling arises. It might be extremely subtle, like a tiny wave that vanishes if you don't catch it. Grab onto that feeling, notice it, savor it, try to break it down. Ask, is there sadness or joy in this feeling? Does it make me feel strong or does it feel draining? Basically, you dissect that ephemeral flash into its many layers. That's how you begin decoding in an emotion over time. That's how you'll become fluent in the language of energy. For remember, every emotional burst you produce is an intention. For example, if you keep telling yourself, "We're doomed, evil forces always win," that's an emotion you're printing onto reality. Matter responds to that negativity. So it's important to be mindful of your thoughts and feelings because they shape your environment. Yes, I realize it sounds like typical life coach advice, but there's real truth there. If your energy is consistently negative, you'll see negative outcomes. That's why I constantly stress working on yourself, changing your mindset. This is also why, if you want to see or interpret the subtle plane, it's essential to approach things more consciously. If you're ignoring your authentic emotions, how can you possibly read the subtle layers in external reality? Personal boundaries matter a lot here too. An empath who reads too many external energies can get overwhelmed if they don't put up filters or shields. Otherwise, they'll drown in others' emotions and risk losing their own equilibrium. So, setting boundaries is crucial. Same with managing your thoughts, because everything you do is an intention, a creative force shaping the world around you. Then finally, you might be curious about so-called future lines or temporal lines. Sensing the future is also about sensing energies. The future itself is not locked in. Instead, there are multiple energy frameworks or timelines shaped by intentions. Whenever a person shifts their mindset or emotional frequency, they alter those frameworks. The reason you can't see a single fixed future is that each soul can reorient itself at any time, forging a different path. So, predicting the future is actually reading these intangible intention structures. Some do it unconsciously, others do it more consciously. But it's always about the same principle energy shaped by emotion. Even if you want to read the timeline of the world, that's just decoding the sum of energies from countless souls. And those energies can change. So, again, everything keeps pointing back to the fact that we must work on ourselves. If you want to sense the subtle plane, ask yourself, how do I actually feel? Then deeply examine those flickers of emotion. If you keep brushing them aside, saying, it's just my imagination, you'll never develop that second sight. Stop ignoring those impressions. Listen to them. That's all for now. I hope this video helps many of you begin consciously perceiving your own emotions, possibly leading you to sense the subtle plane better. Wishing you success. I'm sending you love. Until next time, take care. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and share my channel. Become a member of my Telegram channel and discuss with like-minded people as a supporting club member.